A fresh morning to all. And now I am going to explain the holding company and what is holding company and what is subsidiary company, what is the preparation and the principles of holding company, how to make the consolidated balance sheet of the holding company, and capital profit, calculation of capital profit and the calculation of revenue profit. First, a holding company is one that hold either the majority of the shareholder or the 50% of the shareholder of one or more companies to have a controlling interest in such companies. For example, it is just imagine it in your mind, just the relationship between the parents and the students, parents and their children. Children are controlled by the parents and the children are held by the parents. So, here the parent is called the holding company. The subsidiaries, that means the children are called the subsidiary company. And in other words, the company which controls another company is known as the holding company. Just I am going to give another example. This is right and this is left. Now my right hand is going to hold my left hand. The left hand holded by either partly or fully. So the majority of the shareholder holded by the company. So in another things, that means the holding company is a parent company. It is an enterprises. It has one or more subsidiary or subsidiaries. And in another technical term, in other words, company which controls another company is known as holding company. So that as I said, the relationship between the parents and their children. The children are controlled by the parents. So parent enterprise is the holding company. Children's enterprise is the subsidiary company. And here section 212 of the Companies Act lays down specifically the different aspects of presentation of accounts by the holding company. Every holding company has to attach the following documents. What are all the documents? The first document is a holding company, a copy of balance sheet of the subsidiary company, first one, and the second one, the copy of the profit and loss account of the account, and third one, the copy of the report of board of directors, and the fourth one, the copy of the report of the auditors. And finally, the holding company make the statement of holding company, that means the consolidated balance sheet. And next one, what is subsidiary company? As I said, the subsidiaries are as like the children of the parents. So, as per accounting standard 21, a subsidiary company is an enterprise that is controlled by another company. As I said, it is known as parent. So, the another company is called as holding company. A parent company is an enterprise that has one or more subsidiaries. A group company is the parent and all subsidiaries. So, here a holding company may be a group of company. And next one, Companies Act 1956. I have to explain subsidiary companies under the accounting standard 21 and also companies, statutory companies under the Companies Act 1956. Indian Companies Act doesn't define the holding company directly under section 4 subsection 4 here, but according to section 4 subsection 1 of the Companies Act 1956 directly defines a subsidiary company. As per this section, one company can become a holding company. It must be follow any one of the way. The first way is more than 50% of the nominal value of the equity shares of the other company. Either 50% of the nominal value or half of the equity shareholder of the company. And second one is by controlling the composition of the board of directors of the other company. The holding company is a controlling company. The holding company can be removal of the board of directors of the subsidiary company, or appoint the new board of directors of the subsidiary company. And third condition is by controlling a holding company which controls another subsidiary or subsidiary companies. As I said, the holding companies is a parent company. It holds one or more subsidiary or subsidiaries companies. And next one is accounting standard. What are the rules and regulations? What are the preparation? What are the presentation to make the consolidated financial statement? According to accounting standard 21 said, the consolidated financial statement, what are the objectives of accounting standard 21? We have to follow accounting standard 21 to make the holding consolidated balance sheet. So what are all the rules? First one, what are the objectives of accounting standard 21? First objective is to formulate the principles and procedures for preparation and presentation of consolidated financial statement. What are the principles? What are the procedures? So we have to follow what are the rules and regulations to make the consolidated financial statement, and how it is presented to the company, and how to consolidate it. It is prepared. It is the main objectives of the consolidated financial statement of accounting standard 21. And second one is scope. Scope. What are the scope? Applicable to group of enterprise under control of a parent and investment in subsidiaries. A group of enterprises is applicability. The holding company is applicable. The holding company is just like as a group of company, so that it is applicable under accounting standard 21. And third one is what accounts are excluded in accounting standard 21. So amalgamation, investment in associates, investment in joint ventures, these three accounts are excluded under accounting standard 21 consolidated financial statement. And fourth one is control. As I said, 50% of voting power of the board of directors of the subsidiary company. It is also half of the voting power or 50% of the voting power of the company. And next one is what is subsidiary, what is parent. As I said, the holding company and the subsidiary company, just imagine it, the relationship between the parents and their children. So as like the relationship between holding company and the subsidiary company. So here subsidiary, an enterprise controlled by another enterprise. An enterprise is called subsidiary company. It is controlled by another enterprise is called the holding company. And next one, parent, an enterprise that has one or more subsidiaries. It is otherwise called as holding company. These are all the rules and regulations and the principles, procedures for preparation and presentation of consolidated financial statement in under accounting standard 21. And next one is capital profit. So capital, what do you mean by capital for profit? What is the relationship between, what is the link between the holding company and the subsidiary company? So here the capital profit means profit existing or in or earned by the subsidiary up to the date of acquisition. Okay, up to the date of acquisition of equity shares by the holding company are called the capital profit. So capital profit means first we have to identify the date of acquisition first, and before that we have to identify whether the company follows the calendar year or the academic year. Usually calendar years starts from 1st January to 31st December, and the academic year starts from 1st April to 31st March. First you have to, before preparation of the capital profit and before preparation of the consolidated balance sheet of the holding company, you must know, you must identify what is the period of the accounts. So first you have to determine either calendar year or the academic year, and again you have to point out the date of acquisition. When the holding company acquired the subsidiary company, on which date? So you have to identify the date of acquisition. First keep it in your mind. First the book beginning, second the book beginning date, and second the date of acquisition, and third the end of the books. The three dates must be identified, noted in your notebook. And second is capital profit may be in the form of general reserve, dividend equalization reserve, contingency reserve, and profit and loss account. If it is, if your problem have any type of reserve are mentioned in your problem, you have to add, you have to treat it as these items, these reserves are called capital profit. So capital profit, it may be in the form of general reserve, dividend equalization reserve, contingency reserve, and profit and loss account. And next one, profit arising out of appreciation of fixed asset on their revaluation, even the post acquisition period is called capital profit. So pre-acquisition period is called capital profit and the post acquisition period is called revenue profit. We have to choose the amount involved in the post acquisition period is called capital profit. What type of amount involved? Reappreciation of fixed asset on their revaluation. The assets may be revalued or the assets may be, the liability may be revalued, the assets may be depreciated and the liability may be depreciated. We have to calculate what is the profit arising out of appreciation of fixed asset on their revaluation, and it is simply same profit on revaluation of asset, profit on revaluation of loss on revaluation of assets. So here profit on revaluation of assets, it should be treated as the capital profit. And again we have to follow this type of formula while preparing the capital profit. So first thing is profit earned during pre-acquisition period. First as I said, the date of acquisition, the book beginning date. First you have to identify three dates. The first date is book beginning date and the second date is the date of acquisition. It is otherwise called as the date of purchases of the company, and next one is, and third date is the end of the day. That means the book ending of the year. So we have to identify three dates. So in 3 days, first date, the book beginning, the date from book beginning to the date of acquisition, it is called the pre-acquisition period. That is also called the pre-acquisition period for the pre-acquisition profit. That is also called capital profit. And another thing, the date of acquisition, the period starts from the date of acquisition to the end of the year. This is called the post-acquisition period or post-acquisition profit or revenue profit. So, and in next slide I am going to explain capital revenue profit. These are the capital profit. And next one, computation of capital profit. Computation of capital profit. How to determine the capital profit? First you have to identify pre-acquisition period is called pre-acquisition profit when the period is capital profit. So these are the steps to calculate the capital profit. First you have to calculate, you have to add these things are general reserve, capital reserve, profit and loss account and other reserves of subsidiary on the date of purchase of shares. As I told in the previous slide, capital profit may be in the form of general reserve, dividend equalization reserve, contingency reserve and profit and loss account. So that in this computation of capital profit, first you have to add these items like general reserve, capital reserve, profit and loss account and other reserves of the subsidiary company on the date of purchase of shares or on the date of acquisition of the shares. And after that we have to subtract bonus shares issued by the subsidiary from pre-acquisition profit. So first we have to divide the profit may be divided into two parts. So first part is pre-acquisition period and second for post-acquisition period profit. First you have to divide into two parts. The first part is pre-acquisition profit. So bonus share, usually some bonus are issued by the subsidiary company to the board of directors. So that may be subtract from this. And next one, dividend paid by the subsidiary company. So what do you mean by dividend? Dividend means here dividend paid by the subsidiary company, profits are divided by the board of directors, that is called dividend. Suppose if there is any, if they have paid the dividend to the board of directors, dividend paid by the subsidiary company, that is also subtract from this one. And next subtraction is loss on revaluation of assets and liabilities. Suppose the assets may be revalued when the date of acquisition and before the date of acquisition, the assets value are like 50,000. For example, some one asset, the one asset value is 50,000 before acquisition. So after sale of the company, the assets may be decreased and or the assets may be increased. Suppose if it is may be increased, appreciation of assets. So appreciation of assets, that means the profit arising out of the appreciation of the revaluation of assets, it should be treated as the capital profit. Here the loss on revaluation of assets and liabilities must be subtracted and profit on revaluation of assets and liabilities must be added. And next one, add subsidiary company profit during the year. The company earned profit during the year profit, it must be added to this items. So these are all the steps to make the capital profit. And next one, revenue profit. As I said, revenue profit or post acquisition profit or for the post acquisition period. Here the profit earned by the subsidiary company after the purchase of shares by the holding company or revenue profit or post acquisition profit. So what would we say? The share of revenue profit of holding should be merged with the balance in the profit and loss account. It should be merged. The revenue profit should be merged with the balance of the profit and loss account. Suppose if we have any profit and loss account, so profit and loss value, it should be merged with this revenue profit. That means it should be added with the profit and loss account. And next one, the share of revenue profit of minority shareholders should be added. What do you mean by minority and majority? Majority of the shares holded by the company, that is called the holding company. Minority means those shares are involved in the subsidiary companies, that is the minority shares. So here the share of revenue profit of minority shares should be added with minority shares and it is shown in the liability side of the consolidated balance sheet. So while you prepare the consolidated balance sheet, it should be shown, it should be noted in the liability side of the balance sheet. And we have to prepare the formula also, we have to follow the formula also. Profit earned during post acquisition profit, that means the date of acquisition pre-acquisition and post-acquisition. Post-acquisition for the revenue profit. So profit earned during post-acquisition period into post period, that means post number of months divided by total number of months. It is called the revenue profit. Now I am going to explain a small problem for the calculation of capital profit and revenue profit. Okay, first the problem, P Limited acquired 65% of shares Q Limited on 1/10/2002. So which company is the holding company and which one is the subsidiary company? Here P Limited acquired 65% of shares. That means for example, P Limited acquired, this is called P and this is called Q. Okay, so 65% of the shares P Limited acquired, Q Limited acquired, that means holder. Okay, P Limited acquired 65% of shares of Q Limited. So here P Limited is a holding company and Q Limited is the subsidiary company. So it fulfill here 65% of the shares. So accounting standard 21 of the consolidated financial statement, it clearly explained to you it must be follow the subsidiary company under the Companies Act 1956 section 4 subsection 1 clearly defined as early in this slide here 50% of the shares, 50%, more than 50% of the nominal value of the equity shares. So more than 50% of the nominal value of the equity shares of the other company. So in this problem 65% of the shares in this problem 65% of the shares. So it satisfies the conditions of accounting standard 21. That means more than 50% of the shares. So P Limited, P stands for holding company and Q stands for Q Limited stands for subsidiary company. 65% of shares of Q Limited on 1/10/2002. And profit and loss account in the books of Q Limited showed a debit balance of 40,000 on 1/4/2002. The sentence begins from here to ends with here. Okay. So first you have to identify, as I told, first you have to identify the date of what is the book beginning, what is the book ends with. First you have to, whether this problem follow the calendar year or the academic year. So here the problem follow the calendar year. Why? The book beginning from 1/4/2002 to 31/3/2003. So we have to follow the academic year. So what is the date of acquisition? The date of acquisition is 1/10/2002. So here the profit and loss account, it showed a debit balance of profit and loss account rupees 40,000 on 1/4/2002. And another day on 31/3/2003 the balance sheet of Q Limited showed profit and loss balance of 1,20,000. Here this is the opening balance of the profit and loss account, and here this is the closing balance of profit and loss account. So, so total profit during the year is 40,000 plus 1,20,000. So total profit is 1,60,000. So we have to, the total profit divided into two parts. The first part is pre-acquisition period profit and the post-acquisition period profit, and before that we have to identify the pre-acquisition period and post-acquisition period. Okay, first the book begins from. Begins when 1/4/2002. 2002. 1/4/2002. And second one we have to identify the date of purchase or date of acquisition. Date of acquisition is 1/10/2002. 1/10/2002. And the book ends with and the book ends with 31/3/2003. So this is the date of acquisition and this is the book, this date, the book starts from 1st April 2002 and the book ends with 31st March 2003. So what is, first we have to identify pre-acquisition and post-acquisition period. This is called the pre-acquisition . This is called post-acquisition. So pre-acquisition mean pre-acquisition period from 1/4/2002 to 1/10/2002. How many months are here? April, May, June, July, August and September. October it starts from the first day, so that we need not calculate the October. So we have to calculate April, May, June, July, August and September. That means 6 months. So 1 year consisting of 12 months. So 6 months for pre-acquisition period and automatically remaining 6 months for the post-acquisition period. So post-acquisition period from the date of 1/10/2002 to 31/3/2003. So here also 6 months. So next one we have to find out pre-acquisition period and post-acquisition period. So pre-acquisition period it have 6 months and post-acquisition period have 6 months. And next step is to calculate profit. So here profit 1/10/2002 profit and loss account in the books of Q Limited, that means subsidiary companies, profit and loss account of the subsidiary company as Q Limited showed a debit balance of rupees 40,000. So here profit earned is equal to 40,000 plus and next one profit and loss account. The balance sheet of Q Limited showed profit and loss account balance of 1,20,000. So here 1,20,000 20,000. So total profit earned is equal to 1,60,000. So another thing is, so how to calculate profit, capital profit and revenue profit, how to determine the capital profit, what is the formula for the preparation of the capital profit. So here profit earned during pre-acquisition period into pre-period divided by total period. So total period is 6 months divided by 12 months. So here capital profit total profit 1,60,000 minus 40,000. So 80,000 into 6 divided by 12. Therefore 40,000 for the capital profit. So 6 months, 6 divided by 12, that means the pre-acquisition period is called 6 divided by 12. So total profit 1,60,000. So 1,60,000, that means debit balance of the profit and loss account, that is called the capital loss. That means the capital loss. So it must be deducted from the total earned profit. So the total profit 1,60,000, we have to less the 40,000. So total profit is 80,000. So 80,000 into 6 divided by 12. We have to follow this formula, pre-acquisition period divided by total period. So total capital profit is 40,000 and the revenue profit and remaining is the revenue profit. We have to total profit 1,60,000, remaining 40,000. So here 80,000 into 6 divided by 12. Okay. So in the next one, so here in the problem number 1, calculate the capital profit and the revenue profit. What are the formula for the revenue profit? The formula is post acquisition period profit into, so here this problem we have pre-acquisition period profit, that means pre-acquisition period profit, that means total profit minus pre-acquisition period loss, that means 40,000. So 1,20,000 minus 40,000 is equal to 80,000. So 80,000 into 6 divided by 12. Okay. Here revenue profit so total profit earned during the year, that means 1,60,000 into revenue period 6 months divided by 12 is equal to 80,000 is called the revenue profit. So 40,000 for the capital profit and revenue profit, that means 80,000. So in this next problem, so due to time constraint we have to see in the next class for the next problem. Thank you.